Okay, guys, this is day one of my trip to the motherland. I'm going to Accra, Ghana, and I had to take my first international first class flight. It was luxurious. So, this was actually my second connection. I also had to connect in Atlanta, so from Little Rock. And the flight from JFK to Ghana is 10 hours. So I went ahead and took my whole meal here, it was pretty good. And then 9 hours later, after sleeping, I woke up to another meal. I had a burger before landing and somewhere over Africa. Now I'm in Ghana. So here I'm about to land. Okay, so this is on the way to the hotel. I had a pretty nice hotel. I didn't stay at the most expensive, but it was probably like the third most expensive hotel. I wanted a nice, cozy place to stay. So I was at Botanical Beach Hotel because I love the beach. The room, very nice. I would say this is probably one of the nicer buildings. I think it's been newly constructed and everything's new. And they had complimentary drinks and water, which is necessary for an international trip. Do not drink the local water if you are not from there. The balcony was nice, bathroom, beautiful, updated, immaculate. The tub, great. I will say I did make a mistake and I had to book one more night here for the trip. And the room they put me in the second time was in one of the more outdated buildings. It was not as nice. But anyway, outfit, day one, first meal in Ghana was jollof rice at Frankie's in Osu. Very good. These are just some of the city murals on the ride back. I love murals. And just some art in my hotel. Beautiful. Alright, and then, went out on my balcony. I was like, oh, what is that? Some music? Okay, I did my research and I saw that Little Body Beach, they say it be popping. And it was, every single night it was loud. But anyway, the first night I did go exploring. Come to find out, there is a bar in the hotel. I got 2 of these right here. And then I came back, I had a relaxing bath, okay? Day 2, alright, went to Makola Market in the heart of Accra. It goes on for literal miles, and some of the vendors just set up shop along the road because people don't even want to go all the way down into the congestion of the market. So we went here and took a look at, some of the things that were for sale. And then we went to the National Museum dedicated to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. All right. Okay, I want you to start counting black stars from right now. Okay, and then let's see how many you get and put in the comments. Just some backstory about who Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is. He was the Prime Minister of Ghana. Back then it was called Gold Coast. From 1952 to 1957, and that was when it gained its independence from Britain. So he did a lot. He established, several schools, hospitals, hotels, motorway, Tema, Adomi Bridge. He brought a lot of commerce, even with the Ghana Black Star line with 15 ships. So he did a lot for their economy and bringing it to what is now modern day Ghana. So that statue you see there is part of one of his biggest quotes, which is forward ever, backward never. We face neither east nor west, we face forward. So so that's just a little bit about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He was also a Pan-Africanist, which means that he believed that Ghana was not free and liberated until all of Africa was free. So his quote was, "Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. So I thought this was cool. And the fact that I could see black stars everywhere. So this is Black Star Square, just FYI. And so like you see, it's in the black star, it's in their flag. They have a whole square. Like I started seeing it everywhere. So Ghana is the black star of Africa, being that they were the first to do a lot of things. So but really the black star, it can represent all of us. So you see here in this black star mural that Malcolm X, kind of got started on some of the revolutionary things, and then how it comes all the way down to Dr. Nkrumah. So one of the cool things about Black Star Square is it's like an amphitheater where they have a lot of events. After that, we went to the National Museum Gallery just to learn more about some history of Ghana. And the main thing that I loved here was this spider. And the reason why is because it tells us that like all of our stories are linked. All right, and then I went to the pool for a much needed evening of cooling off after a long day of exploring the city. Then got dressed up and ready to head out for a night on the town to see what some nightlife in Ghana was like. So so we went, I think this place was called Twist, but I'm not 100% sure. We went to a couple places, but it like, okay, and I suggest if you do go out in Ghana, go late, and I mean late, like 1 p.m. late, 1 a.m. late. Like, don't be going like we did at 9, 10 p.m. Like, you need to go late, because, anyway, just do it. All right, so day 3. One of my favorite days, we went to the Aburi Gardens. So start off at Star Bites, had spring rolls. I wanted samosas, but they were out. This is the ride up the mountain to the Aburi Gardens. Beautiful view. And then we're here at the Botanical Gardens. My favorite places to go are gardens. These are royal palms, so gorgeous. And then we enter the garden. And so we had another tour guide, who basically everywhere we went, we had a tour guide who kind of would tell us more about the location, even though my tour guide knew basically everything too. But they would give you like more history. So they were telling me like the names of all these trees, all the different plants, the flowers that they gave me. And I mean, I love it. I love plants and trees and all this, just nature. So this was like 100% for me. So like, you see how huge this tree is? And so this is a hollow tree that took over a different tree. And this is what it looked like inside. Insane. So, yeah. So, yeah, my favorite, Monsteras. So, one more view of the Monsters. They were huge and all the way up the trees. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. This is Tree of Life, I believe it's called. It's a carving, and basically you can see like the people in there, and it just has like so many meanings. But yeah, I love this whole day. It's amazing. This is a traveler's palm, and I don't remember where it came from, but it looked very cool, especially this one on the ground. It was like bent over. These were just some of the flowers that I got. I got a hibiscus, which is one of my favorites, and I got a bird of paradise, another favorite, and then impatient and sweet orange jasmine, which smells so good. So just beautiful. And then I also got to try King's Bite chocolate, which is from and made in Ghana. So this is coming back down the mountain. This is the view. And all right, so we're on day 4. So this is the Atome Monkey Sanctuary. This is the day of exploring the Vulture region. this was the most unexpected, amazing places we went. Like, I did not think I would love it this much. They are so cute. And I did not know they would get that close to you. But as soon as like they are done eating their little banana, they are out of there. But yeah, they're so cute. And then, so the big one came over first and was eating his banana. And then the little ones came over, I guess, once he said it was okay. And there was even like a little baby one, that my tour guide fed. And but the other ones kind of really didn't let it eat a whole lot, because I guess it's the baby, it doesn't get the same privileges. But they're so cute. And see here, they're like fighting over the banana, and then the big one is like he's got his own banana, but he's also like, what are y'all doing? Do I need that one too? But yeah, they're so cute. I loved this. So again, we had another guide here, and he kind of told me a little bit more. The monkeys eat more than just bananas. They eat insects. They eat other fruits. They eat, I think, nuts and things like that as well. They actually will migrate to the village daily, and the villagers feed them. And then they shoo them back home to their little sanctuary. So it was just great. Like, I loved this so much. It was a little bit of a drive, getting to the Vulture region from Accra, but worth it. Okay, like, I loved it. I swear, every time I am in nature, it's just like, I'm at peace. I am at home, and literally I was at home in the motherland, the country of my ancestors, right? So anyway, so then we went to the midst of a canopy walkway to see a waterfall, 259 steps, and the bout killed me. Okay, but it didn't seem so bad while I was doing it, so I think I'm just out of shape. But yeah, the views were amazing. Even like, just look at the butterflies. Like hello, Mother Nature. Like, it's like me again. Hello, I'm home. How are you? You know, I love this. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, get the butterfly. Just like this stuff is just like, I just love it, you know. The more I can get outside, it's just like the better. So this is the actual canopy walkway, where we were walking like over, you know, the terrain, I guess, to get to this beautiful, gorgeous waterfall. So you can see the waterfall from here, but we're not quite there yet. We're just like, this is the canopy, kind of the overlook, if you will. This is the easy part, you know. So yeah, so there's 2 walkways, one there and one back, and then there's a little bit of a small climbing hike down to the waterfall. So you'll see that in a minute. So yeah, this is still on the canopy walkway. But yeah, I would say I didn't feel it until we started going back up. Then I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? But look at this view, like, gorgeous. Like, this is why I moved to Arkansas, for views like this. And it's just like, I love this stuff, right? So this is the hike down into, you know, where the waterfall lands. So, and here is the amazing view. And there's the walkway. Gorgeous, right? So yeah, so definitely worth it. I would say if you're not in shape, maybe try to get in shape a little bit more, do some stair climbing, you know, maybe do some weighted squats and get yourself used to that, because I was definitely out of shape. And that's okay though. I did it, and they said I did a good job. So I'm gonna take it. All right. So then we went to eat at Bridgeview Resort, which is near Aburi Mount. It's on Aburi Mountain. But yeah, it's a gorgeous area, very nice area. The pool is beautiful. I was like, oh, are there hotel rooms here? 'Cause this is so nice. And then this is on the way back. My guide, he told me there are like stubborn monkeys, baboons that are on the roads. So, and then I had to get in the pool again. And this is the pool. I finally show you the pool at the hotel. And then I had to go see the beach because I didn't go the first night for some reason. I just didn't go. So yeah, I just went, listened to the waves a little bit, got me a little peace, a little inner peace. Every time I go to the beach, it's just like peaceful. So yeah, this is me walking back and just a little more scenery. So day 5, Kumasi and Asante history. So this day we stopped at a different Starbites, and got something to eat first, and then there was a long drive to Kumasi from Accra, and actually stayed in Kumasi that night. Went to the Menhaya Palace Museum and learned about Asante history from another guide, and the sword site. This is where I'm at currently, that you're looking at. This is, I didn't take any videos or pictures here. I don't, sometimes, Spirit tells me, just don't. And normally I'm just like, okay. And normally it's just when it's like a sacred place. And if I feel like it's not my place to take videos and pictures, I won't do it. So I didn't take anything myself at the sword site, because like there's a lot there about the former kings of the Asante people, and that famous sword. The one I was holding was just a replica, but the one is actually in the ground, and they pour libations over it to honor those that have passed. And it's just like I could tell. Like I said, I can tell when I should or should not, just like be a tourist. So but anyway, this is at the Palace Museum, and that's where I learned a little bit more about like the actual palace and the kings who lived there. So I'm just extending this photo so I can talk a little bit more about their culture and how the Asantes passed down the crown, right? Normally we have a patriarchy in the US, and in most countries the Asante people have a matriarchy. That's huge. So how it worked is that the kings would be born from the women in the family. And that means that, like for instance, say my son is the king. I am the matriarch. Okay, if something happens to him, or once he gets old enough, or once he's, passed and it's time to move to the next heir to the throne, the one who would get the crown, be crowned next, is not his son, right? That's patriarchy. No. It has to be the mother's blood. So that means it would have to either be one of my sons, one of my sister's sons, which I don't have a blood sister, but it would have to be a sister's son, or it could be an auntie's son, so like one of my cousins. And they don't really call each other cousins. They call each other brother, sister. They don't call each other, well, they have aunties, but they don't call them auntie, they call them mothers. So Yeah, I love that. I love that because I feel like it mirrors my own family. I feel like we have more of a matriarchal system, especially on my mom's side of the family. Like, even though I'm a Davis, like, I'm really a Kelly because that's my mom's maiden name, and like, just like the women just run the family, right? Like, they get things done, and that's just it, you know. So like, it resonates with me, and I love that part of Asante culture. Okay, day 6, cooking class in Kumasi, and then Cape Coast Slave Castle.
And what's again?
And Jamie?
This is what I for the whole day. It's all kind of fire. Yes. And it's expensive. Hey, you've done well.
So, started off, I had to go buy ingredients at the local market in Kumasi for the cooking class. So my teacher, her name is Abina, and I don't remember what day that is, but somebody put in the comments what day. So they have different days of the week, and they name their children based on what day they were born. So Amina is a certain day. I don't remember which one, but my name would be Amma. See, he just called me Amma. So Amma is Saturday born. That would explain why I love Saturdays. So my tour guide, his name is Kofi. I met a Kofi probably everywhere we went. And so Kofi is Friday born. It's a very common name. But yeah, that's just to give you an idea. So again, like, put which one Abena is in the comments because I don't remember. My son was born on Wednesday, so his name would be Kweku. I hope I said that right. But yeah, so there's a different day. There's a different name for each day of the week, and then there's a name for male and female for each day. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, so we pretty much got mainly tomatoes, onions, and a lot of seasonings. We also got the meat from the market as well.
How was the market? Huh?
Good.
Good. What did you buy?
Mentos.
Okay.
Jamie.
Okay.
I forgot the rest. Body.
Accessories in tree.
Inventory.
Okay. Funtum funumfu.
I can't do that. Okay, so Tree is one of the largest languages that is spoken in the area. And it's not too bad to pick up one, and that was me getting a little lesson. So we bought tomatoes, which are entos, and we bought onions, which is Jamie, and we bought maku, which is pepe, which is peppers, that goes into like the spicy sauce that they normally would make with a dish. They call it pepe. So the seasonings we got was rosemary and bay leaves and kitty kitty, which is tree for small. And basically, kitty kitty is just I think the rosemary and the bay leaf, and there's another spice that we don't have here, that they have there, and it's ground up really small, so that's why they call it kitty kitty. So here I'm grinding up something. I think this was for the seasoning that went with the plantains. So she also made some like fried plantains for me to try, with the sauce and without the sauce. And without the sauce, I think my son would like love it. I wasn't too good at this. I feel like this was kind of a fail for me. But hey, at least I tried. So yeah, Abana was great. She was so patient, and she kind of showed me like every single step. I love the cooking class. Abana is now my sister. I feel like she took care of me. She was like, "Oh, here, we need to get you in a different dress so you don't mess up your clothes and shoes." And I was just like, "Oh, sister," because like literally she was watching out for me the whole time. So, and this is the rice we made. Trigger warning right now, it's about to get heavy emotionally. So then we headed to Cape Coast. This was the main purpose of my journey. I had to see the castle, the slave castle that was here. And so we are walking into the male dungeons. There are 5 chambers in this dungeon. So that's one chamber that we were in.
About 1 in the period, about 200 in the second, about 200 in the third, fourth, and fifth.
So he just said each chamber would house about 200 men. And then you can see the 3 small holes they have to let a little bit of light through. And that was all they would get. Okay, so with 5 chambers, there were about 1,000 men that they would cram into that dungeon. And I'm about to slow the video down. So here, like, just look at the floor. I want you to pay attention. Okay. The whole dungeon is made of brick, including the floor. That floor was so slippery and slick that when you went into each chamber, there's like a little like step up, right? But it was smooth, and I slipped during one of them. They made sure to tell me to be careful, but it was still slippery. And the reason why the floor is smooth and it's not brick is because the bricks are still there. But what's on top of it is the human waste, the dead bodies of our ancestors that they just left there. And it formed a new layer that became the floor. So when I say I walked the path of my ancestors, this is literally like you have to think about that. Like they had to just go wherever, and it was there. It wasn't clean. You know, they wouldn't come through and wash the place, I'm sure. And so it's just like you think about that. This was the start of the breakdown that they wanted to do on the slaves that they sent to America. They wanted to change everything. And just like, look at this. Like they were crammed together, having to go wherever, being fed through holes in the wall with no clean air. It sounds impossible, but that's what happened. And it's just like the mental breakdown that they were doing on our ancestors is just mind blowing. And obviously they did this for a reason, so that I assume when they got out of the dungeon, they would be happy that they weren't in there anymore. So a lot of people, ask the question or talk about, hey, why didn't they fight back? Okay, well, the ones that did fight back, they had a special place for them. They had cells, and they had a male cell and they had a female cell. And I don't remember how many they put in here, but it wasn't enough space here. And look at the floor, it's the same. The layer of just our DNA in the ground. So the cells had no light, no holes. The males, they were sent there basically to die. That light there, they turned it off. This is what it looked like. So if you resisted, you died. If you were male. Now the females, I feel like it was a little worse because they wouldn't put them in the same cell with no air, nothing, no food, but they would put them in a holding cell, and they would want to keep them alive because they can make children, which means more slaves and more money in their pockets. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to when they turned the light off. It was probably one of the hardest moments of being in this castle for me. I almost started crying. I was like, I just hold it in. But even now, just thinking about it and talking about it, it makes me really emotional. So what the guide had me do while I was there is I had to put my hand on the wall and think about my ancestors when he turned off the light and just what they went through. And just like, it's a lot. It's heartbreaking. It's gut-wrenching. And I mean, it's part of our history. It's part of our past, but it's a terrible thing that our ancestors had to go through. And I think it's important that we acknowledge it. It's important that we experience this and know where we come from, what they did to us. It's very important, and we need to teach our kids this. So when it was time to get the slaves out of the dungeon and onto the ship, they would force them through this tunnel, and the tunnel would come to the door of no return. Once they went through that door, they would never set foot back in their homeland. So I looked in this tunnel, and it was extremely deep. And this little doorway is where they would look down to see, how the slaves were moving, because obviously they weren't going to go in there themselves. And they didn't want the men to have access to the grounds. So obviously they didn't want the male slaves to have access to the grounds because they had majority in number and they did not want to be overthrown. So that's why they kept them in the dungeons, and they had to force them through that narrow, very deep tunnel to get them to the ships. So this is the door of no return. They moved it. It actually was in that tunnel that you saw, but they moved it here to create a door of return on the other side for those like me who are coming back home. And so the door of no return, again, like I said, once they stepped through that tunnel, through that door, they would get onto the ships. And they wouldn't return, and that's why it was called the door of no return. So they put, like I said, this door up to symbolize the door of return for those like me who want to go back and reach and explore their roots and get back to their homeland. And I feel like there's a symbolism here as well for those of us who do come and take this journey and go through that door of return. We're bringing back our ancestors with us, through us. They are returning home. So after the door of no return, the slaves would get on the ships and start the journey of Middle Passage. You can look that up. Very horrible conditions as well on those ships, but you can research. So another big crazy thing is that they built a church on top of the dungeons. So this castle basically had a church that was right on top of those dungeons, and you could see there was a place where you could, from the church, look down into the dungeons and see what was happening to those men. And like that right there is just like, it makes no sense, right? I mean, but does it, you know? And that's why I'm so like conflicted and just not for religion right now, because I just feel like we have been indoctrinated and brainwashed, and yeah, it literally doesn't make sense, right? So they also would take the children of the slaves that were created through rape from the owners or whoever was living there, and who would rape the women. And if they were biracial, they would not go in the dungeons. They would go to school at the church that they built, and that's where they started the whole idea, and another mental breakdown of, oh, the lighter skin mixed children are better. So this place was just very conflicting for me. The just weight of what has happened here is very heavy and emotional. And I didn't want to smile in most of my pictures, but you know, when I got to the end of the tour, I started to feel like I was taking some of the power back for me and my ancestors as I sat here and looked at the ocean, because I love the ocean and I love to swim, and I'm back. I came back. I brought us back to where we came from, to the motherland, and that's powerful. So I edited this last photo with that in mind, just taking my power back and owning everything that I am and what I've done. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the fact that I took this journey, that I saw it through. I know my ancestors are proud. And if fear is holding you back, but you have the urge and it's calling you to come, just go. Reach for your roots. And now I just look forward to the future so much more. I feel like we have this knack for taking something crazy, horrible, and terrible that happened and just turning it into something amazing. And that's kind of what I wanted this photo to be like. Even though this place was literal hell on earth for my ancestors, I still see the beauty, and that's what the photo means to me. So then we headed back to Accra. We went to the mall. I saw this and I had to take a picture. So Ama means Saturday born in Ghana. Ama is said to be dependable, generous, loyal, helpful, and sweet. And the perfect lover. Sounds just like me. So day 7, last day in Ghana, was pool day. I got to chill most of the day, go to the pool early in the morning and get my much needed water time and just like relax and enjoy the scenery and float around a little bit like I always do and stare at the sky. So I really enjoyed this day, even though I didn't do much. That's me floating. Yeah, and then it was traveling back to the States. So my stay was at an apartment, and it was next to the embassy. And this place, I wish I stayed here most of the time because it was like so nice. And breakfast was included. Yes, please. Okay. Delicious. The whole thing. Okay. And I saw they had Nutella on the menu, so I had to ask for it. So then we went to my guide. He knows someone who creates beautiful dresses from scratch. So her name is Doreen. She made me this beautiful dress. I'm going to take pictures in it later and post it to Instagram. Okay, let me give y'all a little tea on the airport on the way back home. So in the airport, you know, you have to go through immigration stuff, which is fine. But then I had to go through not one security check, but two. Okay, so you go through the first security check, then you can go to the lounge. Obviously, I got that because I was first class. And I was like, oh, yeah, I need my water. So I went and got a water. And I was like, okay, my flight's boarding like now. So I need to leave. So I just got water and left thinking, oh, I'm going to take this on, I can drink this now. No, there's another security check. And you can't take any liquids through it. So I had to throw the full bottle that I didn't drink out of away. And I was like, this is real dumb. And it was a full pat down. And I was like, what? Why? And then after that, we got to the gate, and then we had to get onto a shuttle bus. Only so many of us at a time. Get shuttled to the plane, get off the bus, and walk up this flight of stairs to get to our seats. Which is like, okay, fine, but it was just like so much. It seemed extra. But anyway, other than that, flight home was great, and got sleep on the way back, but I was still like tired. My stomach did have some issues toward the end of this trip. Like I said, I did only drink bottled water, but I think it must have been something in the food. It just did not agree with me at all, or I needed like American food. Because as soon as I got back like a week or two later, I started eating like more dairy, cheese, and things, like it started to regulate a little bit more. But it was tough. I had to have Imodium on the daily. So just be careful with your stomach if you go over there. Make sure you take your meds because they're expensive over there. I also had to buy them over there. It's $40 just for 2 packs of Imodium and 1 Pepto-Bismol. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch my other travel videos and subscribe.